Well, our main speaker here today is Reverend Dr. Gregory Edwards. He is pastor of Resurrected Life Church in Allentown. Can we give Reverend Dr. Gregory Edwards a warm welcome here today? Say with me, Black Lives Matter.
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 Amen.
Amen.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Gregory Edwards. I'm the pastor of Resurrected Life Community Church. And perhaps most importantly, on a day like today, I'm blessed to say that I'm the father of 4 brilliant black children who on tonight, my prayer is, will continue to be alive, healthy, and well. He called Mom his cupcake. She called him Trey. He loved aviation and dreamt a dream of flying beyond the world he knew. He was just a 17-year-old boy armed with only his blackness and a brilliant brain, trying to make his way home and find his place in a society that viewed his body and blackness as a threat and life as inconsequential at best and disposable at worst. And on the evening of February 26, 2012, his stiff 158-pound bare black body lay stretched out on a cool metal morgue table in Dayton Beach. The autopsy report read, medical examine number 000517, and I quote, his body is secured in a blue body bag. His body is cold to touch post refrigeration. The entrance wound is located on the left chest, 17.5 inches below the top of the head, 1 inch to the left of the anterior midline, and a 1/2 inch below his left nipple. The wound is 3/8 inch diameter round, entrance defect with soot, ring abrasion, and a 2x2 inch area of stripling. The wound is consistent with a wound of entrance of intermediate range. Further examination demonstrates that the wound tract passes directly from front to back, enters the pleural cavity with perforations on the left anterior, 5th intercostal space, pericardial sac, right ventricle of the heart, and the lower lobe of the lung. There is no wound of exit present. There are 2 scars present on the right shoulder and the right hand. There are 2 tattoos with symbols and letters on the right arm and the left wrist. There are identification bands on his ankles. His eyes are closed, his lips are perched. There are no other significant identifying features present. His face is unremarkable. End quote. His face is unremarkable. And on today, as we mark the 5th anniversary of the death of a young brother by the name of Trayvon Martin, whose name we call as now our ancestor, whose violent and tragic execution by a racially confused Peruvian wannabe white neighborhood watch patrolman named George Zimmerman birthed the bold, unapologetic Black Lives Matter movement. We're here today, I'm here today, to say that Trayvon was in fact remarkable and his life did matter. He was 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 remarkable, his life mattered. Had he lived, he would have been 22 years old. Had he lived, he would have graduated from Michael Crop High School. Had he lived, he would have been an aeronautical major. Had he lived, he would have been the pilot of a plane and able to physically fly over our nation's horizon of hate, violence, and racism. You see, the autopsy report says that he died from a gunshot wound to his heart, a wound that was of intermediate range, which means George Zimmerman was physically close enough to his heart to kill him, but I suggest that he wasn't close enough to his heart to know him. His parents, Sabrina Fulton and Tracy Martin, are forever painfully aware of the gift they had in his life, but I will say that the world will never know what it lost in his death. And not only Trey's death, but the countless daily deaths of unarmed, young, bold, brilliant brothers and sisters whose only threat to this nation is being born black, and whose very hopes and dreams die like grapes on the vine with every state-sanctioned, DA-approved bullet that rips open their beautiful black bodies. Let's talk truth today, shall we? Yes. Today we remember Trey's life and also the lives of those who prematurely passed from time to eternity simply because they dared to breathe while being black. Dontre Hamilton, Eric Garner, John Crawford III, Michael Brown Jr., Ezell Ford, Dante Parker, Tanisha Anderson, Kai Gurley, Tamir Rice, Romaine Brisbane, Jeremy Reed, Tony Robinson, Philip White, Eric Harris, Walter Scott, Freddie Gray, Sandra Bland, Philando Castile, and the list goes on. Amadou Diallo. 66 years ago, Langston Hughes asked the question, what happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun or fester like a sore then run? Does it stink like rotten meat or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags in the back of your mind and explodes. Maybe it sits there like a heavy load. The fact is, the mythologized American dream has become every white person's possibility and every black person's nightmare. Let's talk truth, shall we? And if this appears to be a contradiction, remember, we live in a land that produced a Barack Obama and a Donald Trump. If we are ever going to stop the nightmare, we have to wake up and face facts. Before there were Donald Trumps, George Zimmermans, and Darren Wilsons, there were Bull Connors, Strom Thurmans, George Wallaces. So it's not so much who killed Trayvon Martin as it is what killed him. It's this what that is America's foundation, the very fulcrum upon which our republic leans, dare I say stand. Addressing this what is the work of justice. America's what is the incestuous marriage of the menage a trois of racism, white supremacy, and a plantation capitalism, which works together to provide a pathway for the creation of institutions, systems, public policies, and practices that make it a crime to be black. In turn, this criminalization of black bodies based upon the condemnation of blackness is the primary mechanism upon which the continued militarization of America's inner city police departments function, webbed in a seamless economic conjunction with our local DA offices, which advance mandatory sentencing laws legislated by incumbent career politicians of both parties elected on their dog whistle of being tough on crime. Making black pain profitable and turning a nation with only 5% of the world's population into a nation with the largest incarceration rate. Can we talk? Let's face it, the very presence of black people in general and black youth in particular, whose prepubescent bodies begin to change during adolescence, becomes a constant reminder of an inconvenient truth of America's failed past and false promises to those without whose bodies America's could have never been built. Any nation that permanently declares a war on its citizens is ultimately doomed for destruction, and not from the outside in, but from the inside out, unless there's interruption. So in times like these, we got to go back. It is Black History Month. We got to go back to the poets and the prophets and listen to the words of those upon whom shoulders all Americans stand. W.E.B. Du Bois asked the question, how shall integrity face oppression? What shall honesty do in the face of deception? Decency in the face of insult? Self-defense before blows? How shall desert and accomplishment meet despising, detraction, and lies? What shall virtue do to meet brute force? To which Dr. King said that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it is bent towards justice. To which I say that the arc of the universe may bend towards justice, but it doesn't bend by itself. It bends because of the never-ending pressure that's applied to it. And for Trayvon Martin, those that came before, those that stand with us, those that come behind us, for our children, our future, and our freedom, now like never before, it's time to apply pressure. The doctors ask me, tell me where it hurts. It hurts to bury our young, brilliant, bold black boys and girls whose dreams die like grapes on the vine. It hurts. Where must we apply pressure? We must apply it with our bodies, by remembering, by educating, by organizing, and by protesting. It's one thing to say Black Lives Matters with your mouth. It's another thing to put your body on the line. We must apply it with our bodies. We must apply it with our ballot, by ensuring no political candidate, regardless of their party or their race or their color or creed, who engages in dog whistle politics and is fearful of the repercussions of naming, claiming, and shaming the insidious nature of racism, white supremacy, white nationalism, and its undeniable impact on all public policy ever gets elected. We must apply it not only with our bodies and ballots, but with our bucks. By refusing to spend money at spaces and places and on faces that quietly profit from racist policies and practices which perpetuate the highest form of violence, poverty, and usually masquerade in names like Citizens Council, Center for American Progress Action Fund, Soldiers of the Cross Training Institute, and even neighborhood improvement zones. I'm not on anybody's payroll. In the words of Frederick Douglass, the limits of tyrants are prescribed by the endurance of those whom they oppress. And it's time for those that believe that of this American nightmare to rise up. You see, some folk need to be reminded that Trayvon, some of us here, we are the children of the slaves you couldn't kill, descendants of kings and queens you cannot stop. And me particular, I follow the footsteps of an Afro-Asiatic Palestinian Jew with nappy hair, bronze feet, righteous anger, a radical love, who defied Rome's order to stay dead. I will not be defied by death, but I believe behind every Friday is a Sunday coming. I follow him that said, this is my body given for you. In the words of my Jesus, you can have my body, but no unjust state can have my mind or my obedience. nightmare for some is ever going to be a realized dream for all, we gotta wake up. Look at your neighbor and say, wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up.
And face the fact that many folk aren't free. And less so post January 20, 2017. When you're truly free, you can say and do things that indicate love of self without fear of being misinterpreted through another's bifocal lens of ignorance and fear when you're free. Because freedom and fear cannot coexist any more than black folk can coexist with white nationalists. My declaration of love of self and my people should not threaten anyone unless you are the ones threatening me.
Right. Yes.
Then I guess my loving of self and my people will threaten you. Loving myself and my people doesn't mean I hate white people or anyone else. And so I'll never apologize for stating what in any other place in the world would be obvious. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Let's be clear. When you hear Black Lives Matter, no one's saying only Black Lives Matter. That's the media, not us. In truth, we know that all lives matter because many of us have supported all lives, all throughout history, even when supporting of your life has cost me my own. But now, we need others to stand with us and declare unapologetically in word and deed that Black Lives Matter. Because black lives are the lives lying in our nation's street. And so in closing, I would say this. If America is ever truly going to be America, it cannot be anchored in the continued mythologizing of a dream that really never was. It cannot be rooted in the rhetoric of making America great again. Making America great will never occur by doing a U-turn back in time or reversion into the womb of separate but equal, back of the bus, Jim Crow, woman last, homophobic, Islamophobic, stop and frisk, shoot first, ask questions last, white supremacy or xenophobia. Rather, my faith says a nation is only great in the eyes of God when a nation is great for all, not some. Amen. A great nation is built on a great people who intentionally choose justice over injustice, love over hate, humility over arrogance. Perhaps in the words of Valerie Carr, the current darkness of America's landscape doesn't mean America is dead in the tomb, but that we are actually in the womb, about to give birth to a nation that's never been. And the pain of what we're feeling now are the contractions of freedom and justice stuck in the birth canal of an America that has yet to be born. Maybe our contradictions are really our contractions. So we must struggle together and push despite our pain. And the pushing requires all of us. Push. Malcolm X said the only way we'll get freedom for ourselves is to identify ourselves with every oppressed people in the world. If we want to be free from the yoke of oppression and tyranny and sing Almighty God's universal anthem of love, freedom, and justice, there must be a new American majority that resists and rises from the ashes. We must bridge the divide of race and theology. White folk gotta stand with black folk. Straight folk gotta stand with gay folk. Christians got to stand with Muslims. Jews must stand with Gentiles. And if we do that, God will stand with all of us. I have the hope that this American dream won't be my grandchildren's nightmare. And so I close with the words again of Langston Hughes, let America be America. Let America be America again. Let it be the dream for all you say it used to be. Let it be the pioneer of the plain seeking a home where he himself is free. America was never America to me. Let America be the dream the dreamers dreamed. Let it be this great song's land of love, where never kings connive nor tyrants scheme, that any man be crushed by one above. It never was America to me. Let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity is real and every life is free. Equality is in the air we breathe. There's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free. Say, who are you that mumbles in the dark, and who are you that draws your veil across the stars? I'm the poor white, fooled and pushed apart. I'm the Negro bearing slave scars. I'm the red man driven from the land. I'm the immigrant clutching the hope I seek, and finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush weak. I am the young man full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient endless chain of profit, power, gain, and grab the land, of grab the gold, of grab the ways of satisfying my need, of work the men, of take the pay, of owning everyone and everything for one's own greed. I am the farmer, the bondsman to the soil. I am the worker sold to the machine. I am the Negro servant to you all. I am the humble, hungry, mean. Hungry yet today despite the dream, beaten yet today, O pioneers. I am the man who never got ahead, the poorest worker bartered through the years. Yet I'm the one who dreamt our basic dream in the old world while still a serf of kings, who dreamt the dream so strong, so brave, so true, that even yet its mighty daring sings in every brick and stone and every furrow turned, that's made America the land that has become. Oh, I'm the man who sailed those early seas in search of what I meant to be my home. For I'm the one who left dark island shore and Poland's plain and England's grassy lea. And torn from black Africa's strand I came to build a land of the free. The free? Who said the free? Not me. Surely not me. The millions on relief today, the millions shot down when we strike, the millions who have nothing for our pay, for all the dreams we dreamed, for all the songs we've sung, for all the hopes we held, for all the flags we've hung, the millions who have nothing for our pay except the dream that's almost dead today. Oh, let America be America again, the land that has never been, yet must be, the land where every person is free, the land that's mine, the poor man's, Indian, Negro's, me. Who made America? Whose sweat and blood, whose faith and plain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain, must bring back our mighty dream again? Sure, call me an ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain. For those who live like leeches on the people's lives, the new American majority, I say, we must take back our land again. America, oh yes, I say it plain. America was never America to me. And yet, I swear this oath, America will be. Out of the rack and ruin of our gangster death, the rape and rot of graft, and stealth and lies, we the people must redeem the land, the mind, the plants, the rivers, the mountains and the endless plain, and all the stretch of those great green states, and make America again. So I say to you, beloved brothers and sisters, we leave this public space and launch this unwavering race to demonstrate all of God's children, especially those kissed by his face, deserve dignity and grace. May God grant us strength for the struggle, joy for our journey, courage for our commitment, and a love for all God's children. Ashe, namaste. God bless you.
Amen.